Coming up on AgweekTV, hear from a young woman who just finished harvesting her first crop.
I'm here at the Gateway Farm Expo in Kearney, Nebraska with markets and a look at what's ahead for the lame duck session of Congress.
We'll explain genotyping and how it affects consumers and farmers.
And we'll meet producers finding profit in sheep. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Rose Dunn. While farmers are trying to harvest the last of the crop, the indoor farm show season has officially kicked off. That's where we find Michelle Rook at the Gateway Farm Expo.
Rose, farmers here in Nebraska have about 20% of the corn left to harvest, but right here in the Kearney area, farmers have pretty much wrapped up the season and are heading into the Gateway Farm Expo. In its 49th year, the show is unique for many reasons. Yes, more than 300 agribusinesses exhibit here at the Gateway. However, it's the largest volunteer-run show in Nebraska with 100+ community members that work year-round to plan the show. It's also a nonprofit with all the proceeds going to area youth organizations and scholarships.
We give a lot of our profits back to local organizations like 4-H, FFAs, and in the form of scholarships to really drive the ag education for the future.
Attendance at the show is excellent, with most of the harvest wrapped up in the area. Farmers also had tremendous yields, and the mood reflected that. Last week, U.S. trade representatives met with Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue and President Donald Trump to craft a strategy for trade negotiations that will be ongoing with China. This comes right ahead of the G20 summit, in which President Trump will be meeting with President Xi on November 30th. USTR Chief Ag Negotiator Greg Dowd spoke at the NAFB convention and says he's encouraged by that meeting, but is not sure what the agenda will entail.
I don't know. But what I do know is that we're going to have a conversation at that level, and that's important. And hopefully that conversation will lead to another conversation that leads to a point where we can sit down and have a conversation about things like intellectual property.
He believes the trade war will be short-term pain for long-term gain, and that the U.S. will be able to rebuild the relationship with China. However, Dowd stressed this action was inevitable.
They're the second largest economy in the world now. We have to work together in a way to figure out where this doesn't happen anymore, and we can do business with each other without the fear of losing our intellectual property.
Dowd has been laying the groundwork in China prior to the G20 meeting and says discussions have been positive. He admits, though, he's not sure what the final deal with China will look like. Beyond trade, the ag community is also focused on some key ag policy issues that must be finalized before the end of the year. I recently talked to farm group leaders to find out what's on their wish list for the lame duck. The nation's farm groups still have some agenda items on their list for Congress to finish during the lame duck.
Farm bill, farm bill, farm bill. We hope they can get it done. We want it to get it done. We want it off the table. We want to get our foot and mouth disease vaccine bank established and put in place.
We want to see the administration and with Congress's support, go on the offensive in securing new free trade agreements that expand our export opportunities. And we need solutions for a severe labor shortage in rural America.
Well, obviously we'll want to see funding for MAP and FND, and I think as we go along we'll see that happen.
There are a number of other things that have to get done, right? We have the spending bill, which really has to get out there. So in terms of just bringing some certainty to programs out there.
The big question will be whether or not Congress has the will to get anything accomplished. And there are mixed opinions on that, and if the Farm Bill will be done by year end.
I think we can get a Farm Bill done. Beyond that, I don't know that much else happens. And a lot of it depends on what are we going to do about the wall. Is the president going to hold tight on getting funding for the wall? If that doesn't happen, what is he going to do? Is he going to veto the appropriations bills?
Hopefully we can do a farm bill, but quite honestly, I think that it's going to mean that House Ag Chairman Conaway and, for that matter, Speaker Ryan are going to have to give up big time on their desire for work requirements in the SNAP program.
My best guess right now is that they will be doing everything possible to get this thing wrapped up, get it approved in Congress, and ultimately signed by the president before the end of the year.
It's critical for Congress to pass a farm bill by the end of the year, or they have to start over. Well, it's tough getting into farming nowadays, but it's even tougher if you're a woman. However, Mikkel Pates talked to a young woman that just finished harvesting her first crop with a little help from a beginning farmer's loan and a lot of support from family.
Little girl who has this dream of farming.
Leah Johnson grew up on a farm near Elbow Lake, Minnesota. She knew she wanted to be in the business, and after graduating from NDSU, she took a job with Pioneer Seeds in Nebraska.
I had fallen in love with the seed industry. It was a phenomenal experience, but what I learned from being 8 hours from the farm is that I really did miss the farm.
Rather than just selling seeds, she eventually wanted to harvest a crop of her own. That happened faster than she'd expected. This fall, at age 27, she rented 700 acres near her family's farm with the help of a beginning farmer loan and the support of neighbors and family.
Without my dad's help and my family's help, there'd be no way that I could be able to be farming. Is that it really takes a community of people to run a farming operation.
Leah's father, Brent Lee Johnson, farms about 2,500 acres near Leah with several other family members. The kids were exposed to farming early, helping with the extended family's custom combining business. Johnson says he's proud of what his daughter has achieved.
I think it's just the natural evolution of our family. I guess at no time did we ever, start from the day they were born that you're going to be here and you're going to farm. They've all had a chance to pursue their own careers and kind of migrated back towards this. Leah just coming back at a younger age than the others.
This is the field.
Leah says this was a good harvest, and she hopes to build on the momentum in the coming years. And she says she's grateful to the neighbors, longtime family friends, and seed customers who gave her an opportunity to rent their land. They could have put it out on bids instead.
They're making my dreams come true, and I'm so thankful.
Near Evansville, Minnesota, this is Mikkel Pates for AgWeek.
When AgweekTV returns, we'll be back in the studio to find out how a cutting-edge research lab is benefiting farmers and consumers.
For corn and soybean farmers, it's been a challenging year. So join us as we look towards the future and make sense of international trade at the second annual Northern Corn and Soybean Expo, featuring speakers Mark Mayfield and Chip Flory, with breakout sessions, free breakfast, lunch, and a large corn and soybean trade show. You don't want to miss the second annual Corn and Soybean Expo, Tuesday, February 12th at the Fargo Dome.
At Superior Grain Equipment, we're committed to quality and service, offering you the best in grain storage and dryers for any size operation. Our experts will work with you to determine the most efficient and economical storage solution for your needs. We help protect your bottom line and your future with the industry's best bins and warranties. Make the superior choice for protection today and tomorrow with Superior Grain Equipment.
Nothing holds more promise than a seed. And when it comes from Peterson Farm Seed, it's backed with a promise from us. We will sell no seed we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm, so that growers like Pete can keep a promise of his own, to build a profitable business with his kids and give them the opportunity to one day do the same with theirs. Grow your promise. Grow Peterson Farm Seed.
Upgrade your trailer to electric with the Rolltech electric system from AgriCover. Strong, flexible pivot arms and motor mount rotate and telescope, allowing the roll tube to rise and flex over heaped loads. The positive automatic lock is impossible to back off to control the flow of grain. This integrated system uses one wireless remote to operate up to 10 tarps and hoppers, keeping your driver out of the dust, rain, and harm's way. See the Rolltech system in action at an AgriCover dealer near you.
When harvest comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. North Star Ag offers the Lofness GrainLogix Grain Bag Loader to deliver versatile grain storage performance load after load. Lofness's user-friendly grain baggers are easy to load and unload, perfect to get your harvest in the bag. North Star Ag also sells a variety of Valmar spreaders, the leader in air boom delivery, and is a full-service Meridian hopper bin dealer. Visit NorthstarAg.com to see our complete new and used equipment inventory or give us a call.
Initial projections are in for American Crystal sugar beet producers in the Red River Valley. They are projecting payments of $48 a ton. Final payments may change. The 2017 crop payment started lower but ended up at just under $53 per ton. This year's final yield was about 29 tons per acre with an average sugar content of 18%. The company harvested 11 million tons. Meanwhile, growers at Sydney Sugars of Montana have formed a co-op and are negotiating to purchase that factory owned by Crystal since 2002. Mikkel Pates will have more on this in the next Ag Week magazine. The National Agricultural Genotyping Center has been up and running in Fargo since June of 2016. Now the center is working to refine its mission by focusing on 6 important initiatives. Jonathan Knutson explains what the lab does and how it benefits farmers and consumers.
Science and research are an essential part of modern agriculture. Our research center here in Fargo is playing an important and growing role.
We look for unique solutions to agricultural problems.
The poor egg economy means there's less money for research. So the NAGC is hoping to bolster its budget by focusing on 6 areas. They include plant pathogens, honeybees, and chronic wasting disease.
Nobody has an open platform like this looking at so many different types of research. In honeybees, for example, there are other labs that look at the bacterial diseases. We're the only one I know of that's looking at viral diseases right now. We're the only lab that's looking at this particular technology for chronic wasting disease.
The center on the NDSU campus does secondary research. That means taking primary research from universities around the country and turning it into practical solutions for farmers to use.
Is there research that's been done on a particular pathogen, whether it's corn, soybeans, and see whether we can take that knowledge and apply it to something useful to the producer?
Larry Hoffman is a Wheatland, North Dakota farmer who is active in bringing the center to Fargo on behalf of both the North Dakota and National Corn Growers groups. He says that what benefits farmers benefits consumers as well.
I think that the center benefits them by providing them with a safer product. It has potential to be more beneficial to the general public than just the private agriculture sector.
Center officials hope that focusing their research will benefit both farmers and the center. In Fargo, this is Jonathan Knutson for Ag Week.
The NAGC was formed as a collaboration between the National Corn Growers Association and the Los Alamos National Laboratory. You can read more on Jonathan's story about the NAGC in the next Ag Week magazine. Up next on Ag Week TV, with commodity prices down, some producers are going on the lam to find profit. And later we'll go back to Michelle at the Gateway Farm Expo in Kearney, Nebraska.
Giving farmers access to data from the elevator right in their pocket, helping them make better decisions. No more keeping track of paper scale tickets. Innovation. It's always been a part of the farming culture. Integrating directly with elevators to give growers real-time information, all through a mobile app. Your elevator, powered by Bushel.
Martinson Ag Risk Management offers a variety of crop marketing and crop insurance packages to our customers. With over 40 years of experience, our dedicated staff works hard to ensure you get the best advice on crop insurance, marketing, and risk management. Contact Randy or any of the staff at Martinson Ag Risk Management today at 701-205-4200 or visit us online at martinsonag.com.
Aspire is a premium delivery of boron. It's a potash source that has 2 forms of boron in it. One form of boron is available early in the crop needs, and then we have another form of boron that's more of a slow release. So throughout the whole growth stage or a cycle of a crop, you need to teaspoon feed that crop, especially with these micronutrients. If you need to learn more about boron, what does boron do within the plant? So we have aspireboron.com. There's also cropnutrition.com.
Advanced Grain Handling is your regional dealer for grain handler dryers, bins, and accessories. With Grain Handler's continuous mixed flow drying systems, you're capable of high levels of grain dryer efficiency on all types of grain, including seed grain. Advanced Grain Handling also carries West Steel's quality stainless steel products for on-farm and commercial grain storage solutions. Advanced Grain Handling has licensed and trained service techs and a licensed electrical shop. Get a hold of Chad Kylo to find the perfect solution for your farm.
Titan Machinery is excited to announce its 2018 Customer Appreciation Sales Event. Save up to 30% on filters, tillage sweeps, and other essentials, November 14th through 30th. Your local Titan Machinery store will also host a one-day event between now and Thanksgiving with additional specials and to introduce you to Titan Value Pro Parts, their value price line of replacement parts. Watch for your invitation or contact your local Titan Machinery dealer for details on how you can lock in the lowest prices of the year.
Some producers are finding profit in a surprising place. Mikkel Pates talked to a South Dakota livestock producer who says his most profitable enterprise right now is sheep.
I've got ground that Grover Cleveland signed the deed on.
Larry Halse's family has been farming this land near Florence, South Dakota since 1880. He grows corn and soybeans and runs a cow-calf operation, but as commodity prices drop, he's finding his ewe and feeder lamb operation to be more profitable.
The cattle aren't what they were 2-3 years ago. They're decent, but they're not great. Sheep, like I say, you can make more money in sheep right now. I'll make more money this year on my 1,700 lambs than I will on 600 acres of beans and my corn.
Halse's family has raised lambs off and on through the years, but sold off their flock after a brutal winter of 1996-97. He started again with 75 lambs in 2014, and the operation has grown every year.
Who doesn't love little bottle babies?
Halse says there's increased demand for their meat because of the growing immigrant population from areas that eat a lot of lamb, and that's driving prices. Halse convinced his daughter and her husband to go into the sheep business with him. Although sheep are more work than cattle, they have no regrets.
I had to be a little bit convinced on the sheep just because I didn't know a lot about it. My parents had them when I was real young, and there's pictures, but I don't remember having them. I like the care of them a lot better. It's a lot more work than cattle, but it's easier to handle them.
It doesn't take the money and equipment to start into the sheep like it does with cows. Off our 20 acres, we're probably making more than guys farming quarters and quarters of ground right now. It's been very good to us.
In the few years that we've been doing it, we've already went from a few bottle lambs 3 years ago to now we're up to 150 head of ewes and feed out 400 some lambs. So I think it's just going to continue to grow.
Jill and Justin are already looking forward to the day that their 2-year-old son Colt joins the operation. Near Florence, South Dakota, this is Mikkel Pates for Ag Week.
The South Dakota Hereford Association sold 56 steers and heifers at their annual Excellence Sale in Brookings last Saturday. During the event, many youth purchased steers and heifers they'll show for 4-H, FFA, or junior shows. This is the way many of the Hereford breeders started their own herds.
The South Dakota Hereford Association also sponsors grants, so kids can get a $600 grant towards the purchase of a heifer. And this year they gave away 19 of those grants, which I think is phenomenal.
Atkins says the Hereford breed is growing due to its efficiency and performance, plus mild temperament. The consumer demand for certified Hereford beef is also strong. Now here's John with our agri-weather outlook.
Weather now, we're at that time of the year where, you just cannot expect, in the Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, you cannot expect a long-term warming trend. November to December, it's going to get colder. In fact, if you can get a long-term steady state pattern where it doesn't get significantly colder, that's kind of like a warming trend. And that, I think, is what we've got. Granted, we still have pretty cold weather around the Great Plains this weekend. That's going to relax a little bit again this week. As milder weather, here we are at Tuesday. Jet stream going pretty far north. And we do have a split flow pattern right now, which should keep any big storms out of the oceans for the time being. As we go on through the latter part of the week, it will stay fairly mild, and through around Thanksgiving, most of the Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, some pretty nice weather. Later in the weekend, I do think we'll get some colder weather dropping back down, but it won't be any colder really than weather that we've already had. Meanwhile, the really warm weather down south, that'll gradually shrink a little bit. One more surge up into the central plains. And that last week of November, another not so cold stretch before we get into some milder weather again. Precipitation-wise, because of the split, again, no big storms across the country. There'll be some little snows and some little rains. We are setting up later this week for some at least scattered rains out in California, which probably won't put out the fires, but it may help significantly. Toward the end of the week, a more significant storm system along the eastern seaboard. And as we go into that second week, again, no major storms, but the double-barrel jet pattern should eventually descend back into one, but it will be a different shaped pattern. This may be that beginning of that El Nino type pattern, which should mean that as we get on into the winter, not so cold. Short term, though, not too cold. Little snows, but nothing major in the northern plains and upper Midwest, and no real signs of any Arctic outbreaks for the time being.
Stein Seed Company is home to one of the most prolific, highest-yielding corn and soybean breeding programs in the world. When it comes to research, yield is what matters most. With the largest private soybean breeding program in the U.S. and the industry's most aggressive corn research, Stein is in a class of its own when it comes to developing new, higher-performing seed. Choose genetics. Choose results. Give Shane Kylo a call at 701-866-9864 to learn what Stein Seed can do for your operation.
Dig, lay, and bury drain tile all in one pass with the Crary Tile Pro Plow. The Crary Tile Pro Plow lays tile up to 7 feet deep with boot sizes of 4 to 12 inches. Advantages of installing drain tile to your field provides increased overall yield, improved soil moisture levels, and controls soil erosion. It pays to tile with a Crary Tile Pro. To locate a dealer near you, visit www.crarytilepro.com.
With the all-new GreenFit system from Reichhardt, plug and play is finally a reality when using John Deere AutoTrack guidance with existing new products like the Challenger 1000 series or all-new C-Series Rogators from Butler Machinery. GreenFit is an authorized navigation interface that utilizes existing John Deere AutoTrack guidance system to steer most Challenger tractors and sprayers. GreenFit eliminates the worry of learning and converting to a new steering system when buying an industry-leading Challenger from Butler Machinery. Learn more about GreenFit at butlermachinery.com.
Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley source for Badco. Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley Badco dealer.
AgWeek is excited to bring you the AgWeek app with useful features and the latest news and information right at your fingertips. Get your AgWeek news, weather, and the latest episodes of AgweekTV. Plus, see real-time information on the futures market and view local cash bids for your crops. Stay updated and take AgWeek with you wherever you are. Download the AgWeek app today. Jamison Jensen is joining us here with our market analysis this week. Let's talk about corn. We do have some extra bushels out there, hopefully, because yields were good across much of the western corn belt. And so from a profitability standpoint, is that going to make up for some of the lower prices on corn?
You know, it's certainly going to help. What we like to see is if you do throw those bushels in the bin, either on the farm or in town, or even if you have an ag bag out in the field, to have a game plan with that. You know, maybe you didn't market it well this last summer. The last thing you want to do is make your problem worse if prices do kind of slip from here, and then get yourself in kind of a double whammy on what to do. So we like to, you know, maybe if you have half of it sold, let's say at a decent price, and that means something for X gross revenue, and then you kind of figure out what you need to make for gross revenue an acre on the stuff that's on the farm, and kind of put a game plan together. You know, March corn around $3.80, May corn $3.90, July corn at $4. We think those are good sales going forward.
So let's talk about soybeans. Not all of the crop is harvested yet, but we did have a big crop, some record yields in a lot of areas, and a lot of it went into on-farm storage. So what is your advice now in terms of marketing?
There's pockets where production was lower, but for the most part, guys are pretty happy with their yields. The stuff that's still in the field, anybody's guess on how that comes out. But I think at the end of the day, overall, we've got plenty of beans sitting around, either on the farm or at the elevator or at the crush plant. So I don't know that there's a real justification for a huge rally at this point. I think you're going to have to kind of pick your spots and be very disciplined.
It is all about the G20 summit at the end of the month. So what do you think? Does the market kind of rally into that on optimism? And if we don't cut a deal, then do we sell off after that? Or what's the scenario?
I think the market is very comfortable knowing whatever it knows now. And I think it's looking for an opportunity to rally with good news and an opportunity to kind of drive it in the dirt with bad news. So you kind of have to be careful. One thing I would caution guys, even if we do get a trade deal figured out here with this G20 summit here in a week or two, rail freight has been historically cheap this time of year. So even if there's more demand, rail freight's going to probably rally with that and maybe eat up a lot of that basis that you think you're going to get. So I would keep that in mind. If you've got beans on the farm, basis has definitely rallied from the harvest lows, maybe 40 cents in some cases. So, and that will put a lot of guys can get above $8 cash beans. You add your facilitation payment to that. It makes a lot of sense maybe from a gross revenue standpoint, hopefully with higher production this year.
Thanks so much for joining us. Jamison Jensen with Trade-Us here at the Gateway Farm Expo. Up next on AgweekTV, we'll tell you about a large potato donation in Minnesota.
Nothing holds more promise than a seed. And when it comes from Peterson Farm Seed, it's backed with a promise from us. We'll sell no seed we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm, so that growers like Mark can keep a promise of his own, to teach his kids how to care for the land, their family, and their community, and build a future that extends generations. Grow your promise. Grow Peterson Farm Seed.
DTE is your headquarters for flatbeds and service bodies for your truck. Whether you need to haul bales, heavy commercial equipment, or take every tool with you, DTE has the truck equipment you need. We have over 200 units on hand, or will custom build a flatbed or service body on your truck.
Like this Dewey's bale bed with dual lift cylinder arms. Lift, load, and handle your bales with ease.
When you need help at the farm, your business, or in the oil patch, count on DTE. DTE, let us build a truck for you.
Steffes. We have representatives everywhere. Through North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, we can find a buyer for what you are selling. We know how to market your farmland or equipment. Give us a call. We'll sit down and tell you all about the Steffes way.
This is Dennis Belisky reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580. The Union Gospel Mission in Minneapolis got a big boost this week for its Thanksgiving feast. Edling Farms of Clear Lake, Minnesota donated 36,000 pounds of potatoes to help feed about 60,000 people for the mission's annual Thanksgiving food distribution event. Edling Farms has been donating potatoes to the mission for about 7 years. They grow 12 million pounds a year. Edlings also supply potatoes to some St. Cloud charities and to Second Harvest Heartland. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or download the AgWeek app. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.